All right, welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. It's now 7 on the dot. Get into the discussion. Good morning. My name is Victor Lowe. If you're just joining us, it's the 8th day of June 2026. On a beautiful Monday morning, I want us to get to the discussion very fast. But before then, let me take you through the front page of my the local dailies. I have the Star here. The Star says that at last, Turkana oil project gets moving faster after 14 years of delay. Turkana oil project gets moving after 14 years of delay. Lokichar, that South Lokichar Basin, has about 2.85 billion barrels on the front page. That's the story on the front page of the Star. It also says that Kemboi and Kemoma emerged winners at Nairobi City Marathon. That happened yesterday. Okay, on the front page of the Standard, without a trace, that is on the front page. For years, Kenyan families have lived in torment, searching for loved ones who vanished without trace. From security analyst Mwenda Mbinjiwe and journalist Bogonko Bosire to businessman Dafton Mwitiki and businesswoman Regina Wamuyo, the missing have left behind devastated families, unanswered questions, and haunting mysteries. As courts, human rights groups, and relatives demand answers, the cases expose glaring failures in investigations and fuel concerns over enforced disappearances, criminal networks, and impunity. With the dozens still unaccounted for and many files gathering dust, missing persons crisis remains one of the Kenya's most painful unresolved tragedies. That is on the front page of the Standard there. And finally, on this Daily Nation talks directly to what we are discussing today. Security chiefs meet over schools crisis. Is it a case of playing hardball? Education officials have now vowed that schools won't close early for midterm break. A wave of unrest that has forced the closure of most schools nationwide, with the principals now cautious to prevent the tragedy that befell Utumishi School in Gilgil, where 16 girls died in a dormitory fire, believed to have been ignited by some unruly students. Will feature during a meeting of security chiefs today. Members of the National Security Advisory Council, which advises the National Security Council, a top organ chaired by the President, convene on the back of rising tension in schools. That is my topic of discussion today. But not forgetting that today is a D-Day for Gachagua. In bid to overturn his impeachment, he will appear before the High Court this morning to know his fate. He also said yesterday that he will obey the court orders. That is what is happening. Mark Ndingo, he's analyst here. He's not new to Jerusalem. Joining us on set. Wafula Mutachu is also a political analyst. He's also Ford Kenya chairperson, Trans Nzoia County. He's also a board member of NEMA. Welcome. Mwalimu Peter Orero, Mheshimiwa Member of Parliament, Kibra constituency. Most importantly, he's a former high school principal with many years of experience, as well as member of the Education Committee of the National Assembly. Mheshimiwa Karibu.
Thank you.
And Dr. Richard Bosire, who is a lecturer, University of Nairobi, also joining us. You're part of the UNESCO, where education is part and parcel of sustainable development goals, right? Yeah. Karibu sana. Gentlemen, karibu sana to the program. Let me start with you, Dr. Let me get to know what is happening. And Ryder, all of them are senior citizens and parents. So I want to get their opinion firsthand. Deal? Deal. Most schools are closed as late as last night. We have several letters from different institutions. One of them is Moi High School, Miruri, that closed last night. Also Thika High School, also a letter from the school also said that the students will be given that break. That's also because of peer and external pressure break and all that. A lot is happening in the country. And gentlemen, let me start with you, Mark, as we come to you, Dr. Bosire. What do you think is happening across the country? Because it seems it's just some wave all of a sudden.
Thank you, Victor, and thank you for inviting me today. I think for quite some time we've had the crisis in schools, and it's more of issues to do with the discipline. Because when you look at most of the schools, and there are quite a number, because I've checked some of the schools which have been affected, and I've seen the number is too big. About 70 schools have been affected by the strike. I think it's a high time now those in the policy making institutions to think of returning the cane, because I think we have allowed our students to do whatever they want, and unless something is done about dealing with the discipline, yeah, it will be, we'll continue to have those issues with our schools.
Yeah.
And also we need also to also to change the way we bring up our children, because many times we will find even the parents have they need also to get into the issues of bringing up our children. And if you compare the way we were brought those days and the way our children are being brought today, there is quite a disconnect, because we are letting our children to do whatever they want. We are allowing them to get whatever they want. And it's an issue that is going to affect our schools in days to come.
Okay.
Yeah.
Omwami.
Yes.
Your point.
To me, I think my friend has introduced something which was there before, cane to our students. But to me, I think that is not the reason. Let's go to the root cause of the strike. And I think the operators of education knows very well that they have an issue on 100% transition of students. That's number one. Overcrowding of students in a class. And I'll give a case example whereby, like this State House girls. State House girls, the capacity should be not more than 600 students per school. That school. But now it's more than 1,200 students. Now where do they sleep? How do they eat? That is one thing. You know, there is a problem down there and it is not well received. That's number two. Number three, Victor, there is an issue of capitation. There is an issue of capitation, Victor, a big one. And remember nowadays the fees goes to e-system, not like before. When it goes to e-system, sometimes reimbursement takes time. And that one contributes to feeding program, whereby the students sometimes end up taking strong tea. Mwalimu, I mean, Mheshimiwa, you know that in your place, at least there are such cases. Students end up taking strong tea in the morning because there is no competition for breakfast to buy milk and bread. You know, these are small things. The third one, I said overcrowding. A teacher cannot manage. I thank to the government, the system. They have employed more than 30 teachers. That one is a plus to this government. But also, the other thing that the ministry should see or look into is how to enlarge classes, because still the teacher cannot manage a class of more than 100 students. Actually, it is supposed to be 40 students in a class. But now, most of the classrooms, they are overcrowded. Teachers cannot manage. And with that one also contribute a lot. The last one, and not least, Victor, we have nowadays you cannot bully a student. Teachers cannot. And with the different behavior from the different backgrounds where a teacher cannot control students. Now you find different behaviors are encroaching in schools. Now forming, I learned a student was just in our school because of, what do we call it, man-to-man behavior.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that one is another thing. Yes, Victor.
Mwalimu, let me just come back to you. Whatever is happening, yes, somebody can say it's not new. But we cannot sit back and say, yes, because it's not new, so it has to continue. I want to start by asking you, as a former high school principal, from your own experience, what is happening on the ground? Because now the wave is just too much, almost all over the country.
Yeah, I think my colleagues have tried to analyze.
Yeah.
I must say it is a sad state of affair in this country that now schools mirror. They try to normalize the riots in schools. But from where I sit, one of the most important is called Pioneer Cohort Syndrome of grade 10. Now, this grade 10, they're the pioneers of CBC. And because they're the pioneers of CBC, when they were in grade 10 or grade 9, they were not sure whether it will be domiciled in primary or it would be domiciled in senior secondary. There was a big policy shift, especially when the new government came into existence. When the previous government, there was still an administrator, and the late professor, let his soul rest in peace, had built classrooms hoping that this grade 9 and 10 would be domiciled in secondary school. So most of these students were caught up in a very, very undecided situation.
Yeah.
And they thought now their future, the country did not care about their future. That is the thought of those students, that they thought they were second-hand citizens. They did not have a direct opinion about how their future would look like. Now, now they did the 100% transition from grade 10 to senior school, you realize that it was done without considering how the capitation, how the schools will survive, and more so, there was a policy, although it was a good policy, that was announced by the president, I think on January 22nd, that all students must transit to secondary school.
Yeah.
And they were being mocked up by the security agency, the chiefs, and everybody else. And some of these students were taken to boarding school without proper arrangements. So the schools really had a lot of difficulties to absorb some of these students. One, they did not have, they had what is called resource deficits. They didn't have enough capitation. They didn't have enough rooms. They didn't have enough food. So it was upon the principal to see how they navigate with all these problems. But most importantly, I want to say here that our investigation, being also part of the education committee, the most problematic thing to solve is about grade 10.
Grade 10.
Some schools had a capacity of 800 students, but they took grade 10 of 1,500 students. So that is, the total number of grade 10 in senior school is more than the total number of other students.
Yes.
So the grade 10s are the ones ruling the schools. And when they rule the school, they have different curriculum. Some of my former colleagues, the heads, they are still preoccupied with the old system of education. They have also brought the CBC, this grade 10, to the former system of education, not knowing that these grade 10 students have three pathways. They have a STEM, they have social sciences, they have art. Some schools still have all these pathways in one system. They are not separated.
Yes.
The timetables are not separated. We need to have, really, if we have to implement this curriculum, we need to have those in sports and arts pathway. Their timetables must be completely separated. Their classrooms must be completely separated. How they are classified must be completely separated. But we are dealing with grade 10 as like we are dealing with Form 4s and Form 3s. We cannot say those who are doing arts and sports that, you know, some of them you cannot wake them up at 4 a.m.
Yes.
They will ask you, what are they going to do? It's not about cognitive domain. You know, we need to separate. It is not a matter of cognitive. We need to have affective domain. We need to have psychomotor. We need to have cognitive. We have not realized the kind of curriculum that we are implementing in this institution.
But Mheshimiwa, talking about you've not realized, you belong to the Education Committee. This must be one of the biggest issues should be solving.
And of course, when you see our Education Committee, I address these things the way I'm addressing them here.
Right.
It is not the first time I'm addressing them. Because our kids will be lost. One of the most, again, something that happened, you know, now we have what is called automated digital selective software.
Yes.
That puts Form 1s or grade 10s without to various schools. So this software, sometimes you will find that a student in Kayole is admitted in Dagoretti High School as a day scholar. You can imagine a student traveling from Kayole to Dagoretti. How will that happen? The demographics are sometimes are not considered. Not all the time, but sometimes are not considered. When you have such a student, then obviously psychologically,
yes,
he is destroyed because he will not be able to go to that school.
Okay.
And again, most of the students that had chosen their career paths, top students, somebody has chosen Kenya High, somebody has chosen Moi Girls. Then this student, like in Nairobi, you find yourself in Shinyolo. Now, that kind of student is her or career psychologically is destroyed.
Okay.
So we need to really compromise some of these systems. And, you are in a hurry to move on. I wanted to give you an in-depth.
Go ahead. I said nothing.
Okay, let me give him time, but then he'll come back.
He's exhausting everything,
Okay, let me give them time. You know him. He was, you know, he was in France.
Yes.
Yeah, for many years.
Not many years. I was there for a short while.
Okay.
He's a diplomat. A serious diplomat, if some of you are not aware.
A serious one. And you know, when you sit in that committee, the UNESCO,
yes,
a lot is happening when it comes to education.
Yes.
Good morning.
Morning, Victor. Thank you for having me, or having us this morning. The issue we're discussing is a matter of national importance.
Yeah.
If there is anything that is most important to any country, is education. I would like to start by saying that, or disagreeing with my brother here, that the question is policies. In fact, the question is never policies in this country. I teach public policy. Pull any policy, there are policies that have been done in this country. The problem is implementation of policy. Even what Mheshimiwa said here about implementation of curriculum in high schools, as we speak today, the problem is not curriculum. The curriculum is done, is made available. Teachers have been retooled, although I'm not convinced that they were properly prepared. But now, when these students go to those high schools, they find a problem. The teachers have been used with the 844 system. They don't know better how to transition into the CBE program, curriculum. And it's very clear. In fact, the curriculum, the CBE curriculum, On issues of what we are dealing with, peace, conflict, issues of violence and all that, are well covered in the curriculum and integrated in all subjects. I participated in the creation of in crafting the curriculum with the KICD some years back. I supported the crafting of the curriculum, especially on politics, on governance, on those issues that are relevant to my field. So what am I trying to say? I'm saying that we have not committed resources to the implementation of a curriculum, but that is not really of immediate concern.
Yeah.
The immediate concern is on security, safety, you know, in schools, in discipline, in schools. In my understanding, is that there is a philosopher who says that society is man writ large. That is society's behavior is an extrapolation of individual behavior, if one could wish. What do our students, children see in our families? What role models are we to our children in this country, to our students? Do we follow the law? Is impunity not looming everywhere? What do they see from our leaders? And I'm not talking about political leaders. We are talking about leaders in the country generally. Why should a driver go through a red light, for instance? Simple things like those. Why don't we respect the law? From the top leadership in this country, we don't respect the law. So what do our children see? That you can use force, you can use money, you can use any means to get what you want. And that is what now I would say drives them into violence in schools. But again, teachers who are supposed to deal with these issues, to inculcate these values in our children, are not well motivated to do this. We have staffed, we keep on boasting that Kenya has employed 100,000 teachers in the last 2 years or 3 years. But what caliber of teachers? These are teachers trained in training colleges and in universities, ready to work, but we pay them as interns. And we pay them 20,000 shillings per month.
Allow me to ask you this, Mheshimiwa. What is the state of capitation right now?
Now, of course, it's a broad question. The state of capitation.
Has the money been released to schools fully?
We are speaking. At least for the first time, the money was released before the students went in, but not all of it was released. And the question we keep also asking, I have asked this several times, that that amount which is not released, does it form part of the bill? And is it paid afterwards? Because the schools have a long-standing bills, because a portion of capitation is never completely paid in the schools. And the schools have budgeted with this capitation. As they budget, normally a student in high school is supposed to have 22,000 shillings. And this is included in the budget of the school. So if there is a deficit, maybe of 10,000, and you can imagine you have 3,000 students, that is 30 million deficit. So it means that the schools will not be able to run smoothly. So we must be alive to the fact that the capitation that we have, the 22,000, of course now it's about 17,000.
Yes.
But even the budget that we have done now is 22,000 per student. The estimates that we are doing now in Pali, we did last week for the students, it is 22,000 per student. But what we are told is that this is given depending on the revenue collection of the country. So when the revenue is not collected well, then each student will not get 22,000. Maybe they will get 17,000. Now this brings what is called a resource deficit in the budget of the schools. So
individual
schools.
Right.
So you will find that it causes the schools to ration the food for the students to survive.
That is why they're taking a strong team.
So that is the question, yes.
Or ask the parents to support the institution, which of course also is not very easy.
Mheshimiwa, let me ask, and this goes to all of you, then could it be that some schools are using the issue of capitation to send students back home to send a message to the government?
That is neither
I'm just thinking,
not really. That is neither here nor there.
Okay.
But I think there are many issues that cause this. Apart from the society that we live in, it's not just about discipline in school. Discipline is among all the stakeholders. And the stakeholders here are parents. The stakeholders here are students. They are teachers, the support staff. So the kind of discipline that we exhibit also mirrors to these students. But I would say, like now we are saying that we cannot change the program. The midterm is supposed to be in the 9th week. The total number of weeks for this term is 14. And if it were me, the midterm would have been the 7th week. When you keep students for too long in school, they become anxious. And some of these students must be allowed to go and relieve themselves. There's a lot of anxiety in the boarding schools. And I believe that the principals in school, apart from being retooled, they need thorough retooling. Thorough retooling on how to accommodate the grade 10 who are doing a different curriculum, and Form 3s and Form 4s, because some would ask you, I saw some of the writing that we are not going to do KCSE. Why are you telling us to wake up at 4? With the Form 4s?
Yes. Yes.
They need to have their own
and that is a
timetable.
That is a salient question.
Yes.
That a student would ask, and it's a spiral.
Yes.
They'll be asking themselves among almost 70, 80 students in a class, why do you have to wake up in the morning? When you force these students to wake up at 4 a.m., and that's one of the questions they're asking, don't you think you're creating some resentment?
Today, before you just started this, you said that Kemboi won. What did they win? They won
a marathon. Right.
Now, if you were to tell Kemboi, he is in grade 10, that he will be waking up at 4 to go and study real maths. And this is somebody whose path is in sports. And he is a millionaire because of the sports. As the administrators of these institutions, we must be cognizant to the fact that some of these students have decided their pathway. And we must bring them to a level that they will be satisfied within those institutions.
I want to take a break, but a quick one. The Daily Nation is reporting, and I've just done my quick tabulation here. A total of 66 schools are now home right now, as we speak this morning. As at yesterday, when the paper was going to the press. In Nairobi, 5. Lenana, St. George's, Upper Hill, Moi Girls, Nairobi School. In Nakuru, we have got Utumishi, going up to 14 schools in Nakuru alone. In Kericho County, they have 3 schools. That is Kipsigis Girls, Tengecha Boys, Tengecha Girls. Remember Kipsigis Girls, the CS was there just last week. In Bomet, 3 schools. In Narok, 1. Taita Taveta, 7 schools, closed. In Kisii County, that is 7 schools, including Kisii School, which is a national school, I believe. We have Nyamira, 5 schools, totaling up to around 66 in total. This goes up to Makueni, Tharakanithi, Siaya, 1, that is Chianda School. Chianda School is a national school. Omwami, this is not something to smile about.
Yeah, and you know, my friends have elaborated very well, but they have not touched one thing, which I think also we should think about it. Young guys, they are good in imitation. They imitate very well. I saw a movie whereby an old man was walking with a walking stick and a toddler behind, imitating the same with that, putting one hand behind the back.
Monkey see, monkey do.
Yes. So these young guys are imitating exactly what we do when we are rioting to express ourselves in the street. By burning tires, burning vehicles, they are good in imitation. Now for them to express themselves, that is, I think they have chosen, it is the best way of sending message. So, monkey see, monkey do.
Can I interject as
before you take a break? 1 minute, yes.
The question now is, why is our education not changing our children? Because beyond what they see, they learn also in the class. And all things that our children are taught are actually structured in a way that will build cohesive societies, will build peaceful societies. They are taught, whether in church or all these other places, that is education transforming us in terms of inculcating values, and we embrace those values and change our behaviors. For me, that is the biggest question. Yeah. Right. Unfortunately, it's not doing it. So we question the education itself and its delivery of curriculum.
Let's take a break. Centers of Excellence, that's the question today. Let's talk about that and much more when we come back after this break. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. So there is tea. We have enough capitation.
You know, it came when we demanded. You also don't have capitation.
You know, for that,
you're well resourced.
Before we raise the placard to the street for this.
No, as we only go to the street for good reasons.
To demand for?
Not this capitation.
No, this.
They demand for increased salaries and allowances.
I can imagine. Rarely do we hear them.
But they threaten SRC. They threaten SRC, and SRC allows it to go on.
They are our subjects.
Okay. School class in session one more time. So, gentlemen, let's just do this. Let's just broaden the conversation. Mheshimiwa and you, all of you, you've raised very good points. But let me talk about the issue of societal influence. Mark, monkey do, monkey see.
Good. I think there are so many factors, and my colleagues have expounded on many of them. And one of the major ones is the society. You know, our students will always want to do what the leaders, their parents do. And I think one of us, the professor said about how do we inspire the students? Yeah. You know, many times we've had issues to do with once you finish school, you get a job. Once you finish school, you become a leader somewhere. But I think the students are also looking at the society, the way things are going. And when they see there is nothing that is going out to come out of their education, I think that one also gives them the feeling that even if I work hard, I might not be anybody in the society. So they kind of lose hope because there is nothing to inspire them, and there is nothing they can think of becoming after school. So it's more of our society. And another thing is also to do with the issues to do with I talk about policy, and I think I have an issue of how we tend to implement our policies. Transiting from the old system to CBC was rushed, and there was some confusion even with the way it was implemented. Because the former regime had implemented the CBC system, but when the current government was campaigning, they were saying once they get into office, they are going to do away with the system. So there was confusion. And even the students could not know whether we are going to continue with the old system or the new system. Even things like those will always bring that confusion to the students. And I also want to talk about the issue of discipline. Now, if we know we have, it has been a big issue with our students.
Yes.
I think it's high time now we thought of having lessons to do with counseling in all the schools, so that we can try to to bring this awareness, educate our children on how they can handle issues to do with discipline and morality.
Yeah.
I think that can also work for the students. Yeah.
Okay. The thing is, the teacher, when you hear some people say that they blame parents, Omwami, they blame parents mostly for whatever is happening in schools. Yesterday when we were having a conversation, I asked you a question that why don't we hear such students going home and burning their own homes? We don't hear them.
Yeah.
But why is it happening in school? My question is, do we have teacher-student relations? Mheshimiwa, you'll also help us here. Is there a source of teacher-student relations where a student goes to school not knowing very well that he's not going to a correctional facility, but is going to a school to learn?
Victor, there is a problem, as earlier alluded. You know, the overcrowding schools, the teachers cannot manage this. Initially, the teacher-student relationship was better. But right now...
When the number is low?
When the number is low.
Okay.
But right now, the teacher-student relationship is not working. Why? Because overcrowding of students. And even a teacher cannot monitor performance, proper performance of a student. He will just be in a class to teach and go. Teach and go. Because overcrowding the students, like now it's handling more than 100 students in a class. So Victor, it is very difficult for these students, and you know, the 100% transition, like Ambassador said, poor implementation. Poor implementation. That was the main issue. We have good policies. We have good policies. But implementation is not properly implemented, because the transition, these students were expecting to go in a separate school, not remaining the same primary, same primary. You see, now this one is getting worse, and also managing, as a teacher managing more students. Yeah. It's a problem. Now they cannot manage, and now even now it becomes very difficult. Initially with 40 students, a teacher could identify the weakness of a student.
Very easily, all right?
Very easily. And the behavior of a certain student, and try to control and bring him the right direction in a better way. But right now, with overflowing students in a classroom, it's very difficult.
Okay. Is it really normal? Mheshimiwa, why second term? Why second term? We rarely hear this happening in first term, or why second term? And this one goes to all of you. Why second term?
Why I think this time it is very, very unique. During our times, there are schools that never went on strike since time immemorial, because these were the schools that are the benchmark and the hallmark of good performance. Schools like Alliance, schools like Nairobi School, Lenana School, they could never go on strike. So there must be something which is terribly wrong now in these schools. Either it is societal, or it is environmental, or it is management, or it is all this put together. Because Alliance High School were meant for those who...
The top brains.
The top brains, I would say that. Yeah. The top brains, that time. But one of the aspects is that 100% transition now, and also with the current CBC, it is not about the top brains. It is about 100% transition. So you would realize now that Alliance is no longer for the top brains. So sometimes bringing this together for an institution that maybe has not been prepared for the same becomes very difficult. Even running their program. There is a way that Alliance would run its program. There is a way Nairobi School would run its program. And also there is a way that the small school, we call them small because of the status.
Yeah.
We had the national school, county school, provincial school. I'm not degrading those schools, but I'm just saying they are called small schools because they are not the national schools. So the way they are run are different. So what is happening is that one thing that we must come to terms with is that we must put checks and balances for the grade 10s and the future ones. Because if you interview these schools, their biggest problem, one, is the big number of grade 10. And I can tell you there are schools with the 2,000 grade 10s. I can tell you for free.
2,000?
Yes.
2,000 students?
Yes, grade 10. In a school.
10 only?
Yes. So you can imagine, you have 1,500 grade 10.
Mheshimiwa, you need to bring this thing in the floor of the House.
We have done this as a committee.
That is the, Mheshimiwa, Omami is raising an excellent
We have done this as a committee. Yes, we are raising this. In fact, the last time we had the education committee, we are saying that we must put a stop for schools to over-enroll students if they do not have capacity.
And what will be the option?
So one of the options is that these students, when we have selection,
yes,
we must give this random automated selection, we must give all schools equal opportunities. So that we cannot have a school, neighboring school, one school has 1,000 grade 10 and the other one has 5. Yet this other one has 30 teachers. The teachers are more than the students. So we must have a compromise. We must have a balance that these students go to schools where we have facilities. We cannot overstretch facilities to only certain institutions. We cannot have schools with 5,000 students. Like in my constituency, I have a primary with 5,380 students. Olympic.
5,380.
Yes.
It's a crowd.
What we have now.
What is a stream? How many streams per school?
I don't know whether they are not 6, not 8, not 10, they are more. So the only thing that we have done, we have worked with the CDF to put another good school like Ayani. We did 26 classrooms so that some of these students can go to the neighboring school. And the number has now been increasing in Ayani. So we must deliberately have a solution to some of this problem.
Wow.
We must make deliberate attempts.
Doctor, you look at UNESCO.
Very true.
And based on what Molima just said, I mean, does it ring something in your head?
Yes, you know, Victor, UNESCO is the international organization that actually sets standards for education across the world.
Which we all use that.
What Mheshimiwa is saying is actually within the purview of UNESCO, because UNESCO looks at education wholesomely. In 2022, the United Nations held the Transforming Education Summit in New York. And the attention, it was calling the world to the attention that education has to be transformed and that education should transform our children. That we prepare for sustainable futures by inculcating the right values, teaching them right things. In fact, the issues of curriculum and how to deliver pedagogical techniques and methods to be applied in delivery of curriculum, all these issues, teacher remuneration, teacher retraining, and all these things. All these issues, even ratio, the ratio, teacher-student ratio. According to UNESCO, the teacher-student ratio should be between 1 and 25. 1 to 25. But in Kenya, with what Olympic we are talking about, it cannot be 1 to 100, even 1 to 100. It's perhaps not possible. And
you know how they go for lunch? From 10:30 to 3.
Yeah, because I mean, how do you sell 5,000? Yeah, it is staggered. It is staggered. Some people go some children go, 11, some classes.
Some, at 12, up to 3.
So let me finish my thought, line of thought. Let me finish my line of thought, Victor.
Wow. Okay.
So in that respect, then we see where problems have started, or where problems lie, what causes the situation in our country. We have not seriously considered our education system. Infrastructure, expansion of infrastructure, it should be our priority. If we want a school to have a new 1,000 grade 10s, then you must expand infrastructure and ensure now that you also adhere to the guidelines on boarding facilities, and ensuring the spaces provided, you know, fire alarms, fire extinguishers, you know, all these things are written in the guidelines, but they're not adhered to. But who is responsible for the implementation when we're saying that teachers are not properly trained, and also teachers are, the ratio is too big, is huge. You cannot know your students individually. In fact, our teachers used to know us personally. They will meet you. Yeah, even where you come, they meet you, they tell you, what, how are you? And they will call you by your name. But now, students and teachers' relationship is not that close. So how then do we ensure that we mentor and nurture these people to become better citizens? It's like they are on their own. Another point I want to mention, which has not been brought up. We have talked about parents. Of course, all these are key stakeholders in the education of our children. But look at the social media effect. The social media effect. Apart from what they see within our societies on TV and others, but the social media, they get information from one place to another. They see the banning of one school and it spirals to many other schools through social media. So it's important that we take care of all these factors in order to have education, or to change our education, transform our education. I think MPs, members of parliament, have a role to play. The president has a role to play as the chief executive of this country. We cannot keep on firefighting. We fight the fire, rather than laying the strong foundations for the learning of our children, to transform them from inside, so that this can express outside.
Okay. There is this recommendation that boarding schools should be abolished. I don't know, what's your take on this, all of you?
It doesn't make sense.
Before we talk about that, there is one thing that we really need to strengthen in schools, and that is guidance and counseling and mental health. He talked about it. We need to have psychosocial support to schools. We need to employ guidance and counselors as teachers. Or we can do this through RPL. We can have... It is not a must that the trained teachers are the ones who can be employed by the... We need to have a solution to this. Those who have done guidance and counseling professionally should have a way to be employed as teachers, so that our kids continuously, they have psychological trauma, so that they are supported throughout their lifestyle. But one of the most and key important thing in school is about what is called student council. We used to have what is called prefects, and now we have students' council. It came about because of the democratic space that was needed to be built in the institution. The interaction of students and teachers, how they relate. You know, we used to appoint prefects, and some were spies, some acted for the teachers. We need to have, which I never did myself when I was a principal. I never had spies in school. I only interacted with the students. So this student council must be democratically elected.
By the students?
By the students themselves. Okay. So that they represent the interests. In fact, I did a lot of paper on this students council. So that the decisions that are made in school reflects the opinion of the students. We can no longer have dictatorial tendencies in institution, dictatorship, and autocratic leadership in institution. it is carrot and stick. We must have leadership that recognizes the opinions of the students.
Very good. Well,
we must have what
just hold that thought, because that was part of my question. And I said, institutions are not correctional facilities.
No.
All right? It's a learning institution.
Yes.
When you have got 5,000 students from different backgrounds, from all over Kenya, different, call it maybe Mangu or Alliance or even Agorosari from my hometown in Oyugis, which was Agorosari bad school on broad daylight when
parents were there.
That is the presence of their parents. Broad daylight.
They send a clear message.
That is a broad daylight. I mean,
No
it should not happen. But then when you look at how this is happening, and this again to all of you, the kind of environment that institutions really inspire education, or does it look like a correctional facility? He's talked about that freedom.
It looks like a correction facility at the moment. Why? You find students sleeping in the corridors of the dorm. 3-decker. That is a correction facility. You find them occupying maybe...
now that is called, that's about infrastructure.
Yes, but now you see, you've gone to a correction facility, you see the way they sleep.
But it is also the parents who insist, like now, if you want your son to go to Linan, you will go, you are told that you don't have space.
The school is full.
The school is full. You say, let him even stay along the corridors.
No,
and it is the parents.
And they want to pay something.
No,
yes.
leave alone that. That is what maybe you used to do when you are there.
No. Withdraw that. No. I'm one of those administrators.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in this case, the 100% transition. There is no any shortcut about it. All of them were supposed to go to another level without infrastructure, without even facilities, feeding and what have you. What do you expect? It becomes a correction facility.
But I think, I don't think the institutions are a correction facility.
I mean, it is not per se, but in quarter,
partly,
it looks like.
Partly, but
because
I think
there is another school that students were referring as a barracks, you know, in Transia. They were referring that school as a barrack. When you go in that school, it's like you are going into a barrack. Everything very, you know,
systematic, structured. Order.
So it looks like now it's partly a corrective facility, but all in all, we don't pray that way. We want it to be an institution to change lifestyle of our students. Yes.
I think, Victor, the boarding schools are not a problem. The major problem in those schools, and you can hear whatever is being said here, is the resources. If we can put enough money, enough funds to our schools, we build more infrastructure, we increase the capitation to schools, we give the teachers more morale,
motivate them,
so that they can have they can feel like they are teachers. And we also need to improve on the teacher-students relationship. Even the communication in the schools has to be clear. If any school wants to do a change on maybe dad, wants to do a change on anything, there must be that clear communication. Because if you listen to some of the problems those schools are going on strike, they are bringing, they are minor issues. Things to do with the dad, that is something that can be solved within the school environment. Even the parents are to blame. The parents need to be more involved in the bring up the children, because many times you find once we send our students to boarding schools, we leave it to the teachers. So there must be that co-parenting of the students and between the parents and the teachers.
I would say, Victor, on the issue of schools being correctional facilities or not, what I envision myself is to have order in schools. This is a place for training for students also to respect the rules, to respect the law, by talking and ensuring that it's done. We have treated our kids, our children, with the rubber gloves, with the maybe soft gloves, that we should not scratch them. We need to be serious about law and order. We need to be serious about rules, enforcement of rules in schools, but not just to leave children like that. Even the issue of democratizing schools through their student councils and all that. We thought that by doing that, then we are solving a problem. But what is the relationship in these councils and the school administration? Also, how do they do this, their elections? They do it like the rest of the people do here. Someone steals money and comes out here and bribes voters and get elected. Will he be representing the interests of the people, or will he be representing his own interests? I've seen students campaigning exactly like we see.
That's what you call...
They give sweets, they give cookies, so that they are voted for. They voted for. I saw a campaign in a primary school, and that is what's happening. So we have
exported... Just to cut you short, that is a clear and direct representation of the society, a mirror of what happens out
society.
There.
So we have exported. We have exported bad behavior to our children.
Then it means that we have contemporary challenges and students' activism within our schools, do we?
We do. Even in universities, I would make a comment also. You see, for me, there is a neglect. Let us deal with that neglect. Schools send a little capitation, a third, and let them struggle and finish the semester. We're causing problems. I saw the PS shouting that the government has given 7 billion to school education system. Universities are on their bellies. They're down. Go to the university, which is just across, and go to the hostels where students, you cannot believe it. Yet they also increased the monthly rent for those hostels. They are living in dilapidated places where there's no motivation. You don't see a good future. Keep children crowded in those dormitories. They don't see anything better tomorrow.
Okay.
So we need to address these issues Victor, from actually that foundation.
Victor, I think we also need to give the principals and head teachers credit, because now the most traumatized people are the head teachers and
that's why they're closing school.
And if you look at them, if you have 10 of them, 9 of them will be having high blood pressure. Because you have given your children to them, they do not have money, and they have to sustain these students in school.
They don't have enough teachers.
They don't have, the teachers are not enough. Classes are not enough.
Crowded.
They are overcrowded. They don't. So one of the most difficult jobs now is to be a principal. I am lucky that now I left that job. I think I would be having high blood pressure. Because of stress.
God forbid.
God forbid. We must see how we help these people. Sometimes when the schools go on a strike, people always point a finger at the principals. Sometimes it is not the principals. Take example of your former school, which was burnt when the parents are there.
Wow.
The principal. I hope you know that. But you are a good boy. I think
you did ban.
You did ban. During your time, you could not ban a grocery. That is one of the good schools they have in Nyanza region. But now, you see what is happening. I think we need to look at also remuneration. And the teacher, some teachers don't sleep. The boarding masters in school, like in this period, some of them don't sleep at all.
And they're supposed to teach.
And they're supposed to teach the next day. So there are so many things, like how to control this. We have fire extinguishers, we have what, but if we don't have good implementers, if the boarding master is a relaxed person, the school will burn. So some of these schools which have not banned are very good boarding masters, and even the teachers. Now the teachers are others come to relieve them, like watchmen. They now stay from midnight, maybe to 6. Then we have others picking from 6, going on. So you can see how the schools...
All the 3 gentlemen here are parents. do we have money in schools' accounts? And as National Assembly, what are you going to do about it to make sure that that money is fully released completely to schools?
When you follow our meetings, the last one we had before the schools opened, we called it the PS, and we said that he must tell us when he was going to release the capitation.
That was before schools were reopened?
Yes. And I asked myself, when? And he said, before the schools open. And that is, he did. So we must only trace, is it fully released, or do we still have some deficit? And that is what we push. And I think next week, we most likely, we are going to have the PS, and it's going to tell us whether the capitation is fully done to all the schools in this country, and also tell us the state of affairs in schools.
Okay.
Educational affairs.
How much is the total amount needed for schools per term?
Of course, it varies. You know, it's different per term.
Yes.
Okay, the total allocation in our budget estimates is 22,000
per student.
Per student.
Per student.
Yeah.
Cumulatively?
So
9 billion? Or 7 billion?
It's more than that. But what we are saying is that this is released in, like, first term, you'd find that maybe it's supposed to be 11,000.
Yes,
and then
there's a ratio.
There's a ratio. As you move on, then maybe 7,000, that is 18, then maybe 4,000, like that. But sometimes, depending on the collection of revenue, you'll find that instead of 11, they have released 7, depending on the collection of revenue. Or instead of 7, 5 has been released. So this question has been asked many times, but the answer is it depends on the collection of what? Of revenue.
Okay.
So that is what it determines. But as per budget estimates, each student should receive 22,000.
Okay.
Yes.
Allow me to, we are now starting to, the class is almost coming to an end. I'm told that the bell ringer is going to ring the bell. Mark, when now students are at home and you've heard from, basically, the capitation is a big problem, infrastructure is a big problem, 100% transition is a very big problem, and we all need to have a middle ground, because we are all here because of education. There's no doubt about that. What do you think should be the solution?
I think the solution is to continue talking to our students as parents, and also to kind of inspire them to be good students and good leaders of tomorrow. And we need also to try to have that relationship of parent and students, whereby we can we can transfer the same to the teachers, because if we leave our students to the teachers and to the school, we will not be doing a good parenting. So I think we'll just continue to talk to them, and we hope once, I don't know when, we'll have enough funds to fund our schools, things will change. Because we need to have those classes, we need to have those morale boosters, we need to have more schools, so that we don't crowd our institutions.
Thank you.
That will change the things.
Yes. Is it my parting shot?
Yes.
Oh, if it is, then I'll start first congratulating those stakeholders. You know, this month is World Environment Day, and it's part of me. And we celebrated in Nyandarua. It was very successful, and I just want to give a big thanks to NEMA team and stakeholders who participated in World Environment Day in Nyandarua. It was very successful. And Victor, if you have not planted a tree, and Mheshimiwa, it'll be charged heavily in heaven for this month. Try to plant a tree to keep environment clean.
On Friday, I planted.
You planted.
Yes,
you are lucky. You are lucky. You'll be cleared. But if you've not planted a tree in this World Environment Day, oh, Victor, you'll be charged very harshly. And I just want to assure you that this month, before it ends, you must at least plant a tree for you to keep environment clean.
Thank you.
I want to say that in everything that we begin like a new curriculum, when we began with 844, we always have teething problems. You remember when we changed from the former system of 7-4-2-3 and we went to 844, we had teething problems. And now that we are changing from 844 to CBC, also we expect that we have these teething problems. Now the most important is how to overcome these teething problems. Because this is our country. We must get ways of overcoming the teething problems. We must get ways of ensuring that we have seamless transition from the 844 system to the CBC system, this curriculum. And how do we do this? By ensuring that we have good infrastructure in the schools. We need to have seamless transmission of capitation, and we need to have a proper retooling of the teachers. And also, we need to have a mentorship of the Students' Council leadership. Maybe in the parliament, locally we have the local leaders, the governors, so that this is a seamless transition. Otherwise, I want to thank you for bringing us for this debate.
Asante sana.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I'm surprised you have that story of Olympic Primary School. I'm receiving a message here that's completely insane. Nobody knew that Kibra Ayani goes for break.
You know, Olympic, yes.
From 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Eating shifts.
Okay, eating shifts. Okay, yes.
Victor,
1 minute.
My really passion is that as a country, we need to put emphasis on training and teaching of our children that transforms our character. Let us focus on the transformation of the character of our children. Whether we are at home as parents, whether it's at school, whether it's at university, college level, we should be focusing on, does this education transform this person to be a better citizen for today and tomorrow? In other words, invest in the futures of our children on that basis. For instance now, punishment. Punishment for our children. The children that ban the school, if they are found culpable, a strong message should be sent to the whole nation that you cannot ban a school and kill other children, and you enjoy life. You enjoy that life in prison. So that we are really serious about correction. I would have said this earlier. When Nairobi Moi Girls was banned, my child was there in Form 1. And we were scared because you receive a message that and she was in the same dormitory. It is traumatizing to the country, and government must do its part in providing infrastructure, in providing a sufficient number of teachers. The ratio should be reduced, pay the teachers well, so that we can solve these matters. But this matter of saying, oh, just brush everything under the carpet, they have gone home, we reopened, they should have rewound, there is nothing like that. We must deliberately address the issues that we have raised.
Thank you. We all know this gentleman, Nelson Mandela. He once said that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. All right?
Precisely. That's what I'm saying.
That is the only weapon we can use to change the world. And finally, Victor Hugo, who is my namesake, said, he who opens a school door, closes a prison.
You see? Let us make it happen.
A school door, closes a prison. Class dismissed. Thank you so much for joining us. Asante sana, Daktari Ambassador Richard Busire, a lecturer at University of Nairobi. Asante sana Mheshimiwa. He's also a member of the Education Committee, National Assembly. Omami Mutacho, thank you so much for coming, as well as Mark Ndingo. We've had a conversation. Senior citizens in their own capacity, also as parents, right?
Yes.
Class dismissed. Continuing after this. Stay with us.
That is not how teachers dismiss classes.